distorting our intelligence, and this is like it's going. So it's projection. The biggest problem is that we don't know who are we. This is avidya, the biggest ignorance. Not ignorance who is the president of that country, or ignorance of reciting some part of the Veda, or this or that, or but ignorance of who we are. So this is the basic avidya, basic problem what yoga is to solve. When we know who we are, then our emotions are secure. Then we are emotionally healthy. Then on that basis our intelligence develops in a healthy way and expresses itself in the healthy way. Then our thinking is healthy, positive, not anymore under the pressure of fear or that, and then we are relaxed, our energy flows and the body is very healthy, everything is healthy, everything is wholeness. Everything is wholeness. So through the knowledge of who we are coming to the wholeness, and then life becomes wholeness again. We are solving all the problems of life with solving the problems of who we are. That's why don't search for yourself outside, search for yourself inside. And when you find yourself inside, then everything comes to its own place outside. So one thing I would like to draw state, fullness. That's why it is represented by the circle. It's coming back to itself, the circle. And it's always coming back to itself. But what comes from that? In the space and time, then this coming back to itself, when it is in space and time, you get the wave. Up and down, wave. That's why how the matter is created. From nothing, how appears everything. How the final particles is created. The subatomic particles and the protons, neutrons and everything, how they are created. Actually they are not created at all. We are creating this with our limited perception. Because we are creating the universe. We are creating the material part of the universe. Otherwise it is not existing at all. What is existing is fullness. From that fullness come out like a wave. But we are not able to perceive the wave. We are perceiving only limited of the wave. And then we have this, we have point value, particle. That's why they found that the photon is the particle and the wave. Previously they were thinking only it's particle, but later they found it is the wave. Limited perception is giving us experience of the particles, but more expanded perception is giving us the nature of that phenomenon is the wave. And more expanded perception is giving us the experience that this is actually the wave of the self-referral dynamics of Absolute. So it can sound a little abstract, but in reality this is what Vedanta is speaking. That all the created universe actually is not existing. It's Maya, it's illusion. It's from the wrong perception, limited perception. That's why different states of consciousness has different worlds. Even the modern scientists like Bohr, who was defining the atom, he said that actually when we started to research, then we were finding this. If we don't look, we will not find this. Through looking, we are creating particles. And this is the story of Purnamadam Purnamidah. So this is the fullness. From that fullness, self-referral dynamics of pure consciousness creates inner different frequencies, different sounds. And when they are manifested, so you have different frequencies, and because of that, these frequencies, you get different qualities of the matter. But in essence, it is the frequencies of that unified field state. And in essence, actually, there is nothing here happening. Because one is transforming to itself all the time. This is what Maharshi was explaining. That at the same time, there is dynamism, and at the same time, there is silence. Two extreme opposites, impossible things. That's why the life is impossible. And to understand that it's impossible, you must give up your mind to understand this. Because your mind cannot continue if he wants to understand this situation. It must give up. Only when you transcend the mind, then you can live the impossible state of life. Where complete opposites are at the same time. That's why that state is more easy to live than to understand it. Sometimes we can have some glimpse of that. In some moments in our life, we just find that we can understand something. What we were thinking previously, it's not possible that we accept or understand. It was impossible. But at one moment, it looks, it's possible. So, we came to asana pranayama, and we came to pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. Pratyahara is drawing our attention from the field of the senses. So the senses, the only purpose of the senses is to take awareness outside. And outside they are feeding with the objects of the senses. There are 5 senses connected with 5 elements, and the 5 objects of these elements. The nature, these tanmatras and mahabhutas. So only purpose of the senses is to move the awareness outside. So what we do, pratyahara means ahara is food, to take out from the field where he is eating outside, to enter into the field of the mind, to withdraw attention from the field of the senses to the field of the mind, and become aware of the mind inside, and becoming aware of deeper and deeper levels of the mind. So this is the dhyan then. So pratyahara is removing the mind from the field of the senses. Then the mind becomes more in itself, more stable, dharana aspect. and that on what it is focused on inner subject, dharana, then it becomes refined in activity more and more, and activities transcending of activity of the mind is dhyan. And samadhi is the silent state of the mind. Sama means evenness, completely silent, and dhi is intellect. Intellect is no more functioning. We transcend the intellect also. The activity of we transcend the activity of the mind, thinking process, discriminative process. We transcend the activity of intellect, and samadhi it means go beyond intellect, the state which is beyond intellect, which is beyond asmita, ego. So this is that inner state of transcendental consciousness. So this inner aspect of life, which is from the senses going in, this is outer aspect. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, and pratyahara is outer aspect. It's called in yoga Bahiranga yoga. Bahir means outer limbs of yoga. And Antaranga yoga, inner limbs of yoga are dharana, dhyan, samadhi. And dharana, dhyan, samadhi altogether is named like meditation. So this is the meditation aspect. And the most simple, most effective aspect of meditation gave Maharishi in transcendental meditation, using just the nature of the life, recognizing the connection of individual consciousness with universal consciousness, connection of chitta with chit, of Satchit Ananda, because chitta is the expression of chit. Chitta is individual consciousness. And chitta, it is all-inclusive manas and buddhi and asmita. This is chitta. Everything together, it's called chitta, individual consciousness. So this is connection. This is one consciousness. Just it is expression in the individuality. And it has tendency to experience, to live its universality. It's already their inner tendency, and Maharishi just gave us technique how to use this inner tendency of the mind to move to its universality. And it goes by itself. You don't need to do anything. And this is the greatest wonder of transcendental meditation. So here is beautiful picture of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in the state of yoga, expressing the fullness of asana, complete silence of the breath, pranayama, and mind, full state of yoga. And we can see here this inner aspect of yoga, transcending the activity of the mind to subtle and subtle levels and transcending completely, coming to the level of the life which is the basis of all universe, this inner fullness. So this, we are already practicing this inner aspect of yoga, and what we will do during this weekend is to pay attention more to this aspect where there is problems which are bothering us, of the health, physical health and mental state. We will deal with asanas, proper knowledge about asanas, and pranayama, and also yogic recommendations about healthy living routine and everything. Especially regarding asanas, we will pay special attention to the spine, to the health of the spine. And one great Himalayan yogi, Maharishi Swami Demurti, He was unique for discovering excellent exercises for the health of the spine and all the nervous system, and strengthening the pranamaya kosha. All energy system becomes intact, and having strong nervous system to sustain awakening of prana more and more in our physiology and leading us towards the enlightenment. That our mind can stabilize that state of inner transcendence. So this is the picture when he was younger of Maharishi Swami Demurti. This is somehow, you can see, ideal of human body. Everything in proportion, strong, flexible. And this is the exercises for the spine, what we will be doing. And you can see how strong back he has.
What is his name again?
Maharishi Swami Demurti. He was a very good friend with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. They knew each other in India before Maharishi was coming to the West. And even in beginning, they were together in the West, teaching together. And Maharishi was recommending everyone in that time to learn these exercises from Maharishi Swami Demurti. So one thing I would like to explain you some basic principle of the practice of yoga asana and how we practice this, on what we will focus. As you see, all diversity springs from unity, and that level of absolute silence is the field of all possibilities. And there is one asana which is the position of all possibilities, and this is Shavasana, when you lie down on your back. So this is called also Shivasana, the position of total silence. In that state, this is the most difficult asana to perform correctly. In that state, your mind must be completely silent and your body in the total silence. So from that state, then you are starting, this is called also Chetanasana. From that state of yoga, this is state of complete silence, is symbolizing the state of yoga, symbolizing the state of absolute silence, or the state of Shiva. Shiva is the aspect of absolute silence of the transcendental value of life, and Vishnu is the aspect of dynamism of that silence. So, from that state, you start to assume some position, and then you are maintaining that position, and then you are coming out from that position. So from the field of all possibilities, you take one possibility, hold this possibility some time, and then give up. Come back again to the field of all possibilities. Then take another possibility. This is how you are performing yoga asanas. Like what nature does all the time. From absolute, something is created. It has its life, maintenance of the life, and destroyed. And back to the silence. Again, next thing, created, creation, maintenance, destroying. This is how you perform asanas. You are actually, you are doing what the nature does all the time. And what is most important is that state of yoga, of absolute silence of mind and body. When you assume position, when you are holding the position, you must have that quality in the position. Then you have yoga in position, yoga asana. This is yoga asana. Yoga asana means to have in the position absolute state of silence of the mind and body. Otherwise, if you say, I do asanas, it means you are just doing different positions. This has nothing to do with yoga. But practice of exercise, yoga asana, means to have state of yoga in the positions. And then it's just moving wholeness. Your mind, your breathing, and your body is in oneness. This is Samhita of mind, Rishi, breathing, Devata, and body chandas. And this Samhita is moving through its own manifestations, which is coming out from Samhita. And this has effect on your mind, it has effect on your physiology. This is flowing meditation. This is how we do practice of yoga asana. Connecting mind, breathing, and body, and everything in yoga means unity of these three, and flowing from one position to another position. Each position gives specific quality, enlivens specific quality in the physiology. Like this, when you go through all the series of asanas, you enliven all your body in the quality of unity. You bring unity to your physiology. And you again awake your physiology in the terms of consciousness. That you awake consciousness in every cell of your physiology. This is the main thing in practicing yoga. So this will be one thing, and in this program we will go through the basic principles of the practice of yoga, everything through the practice. So from tomorrow morning we do practice and put all these principles into practice. So maybe if you have some questions, now it's time for questions.
When you explain transcendental meditation and compare it to the cities, you have the three main things again, and that is Dharan, Dhyan, Samadhi. What's the difference in Sanyama, if I do Sanyama? Do I use the three separately, whereas I do it together in meditation?
Yes, Samyama is togetherness. Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi together. And applied, Samyama is applied to this, and you get this result. So these three applied to this gives this result. So it is technique what Maharishi Mahesh Yogi gave. Technique of TMCD program. How to practice this. So, and that quality of samadhi is sabija samadhi. Nirbija samadhi is even beyond Ritambhara praja. Ritambhara level of life. This is that level which is still with some activity. Samadhi with some activity. This is sabija, with some seed. Yes, this is sabija samadhi level, which is used in the practice of TMCD program. But nirbija samadhi is when you are beyond everything. When you go even beyond of these activities.
And that could be had in the transcendental meditation.
Yes. But it's TMCD program is helping that you go deeper and deeper, because it is activity on that fine level of life. It means that your mind is kept for a longer time down, that the mental activity is on a very fine level, longer period, and it means that the state of the rest in physiology, a longer period is in a very deep state. And it brings you more purification, normalization of the physiology, more release of stress, tensions, everything, and it's improving you going deeper and deeper in meditation. That's why in Yoga Sutras you will find one sutra in the third chapter that cities are they translate like obstacle to samadhi. It's not in that sense translation. It's obstacle. It's obstacle to nirbija samadhi, because nirbija is beyond sabija samadhi. It's higher even. In that sense. But it's mastering of sabija samadhi, siddhi. And then when you master this, then you go beyond. When you master all siddhis, then you transcend everything.
Do they also count pratyahara as an